Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to do something really quick for us today. I want to make sure I go through all of the best cards in each rarity for this new set that we have here. This new set obviously is called the Murders at Karlov Manor. And this video I'll be covering what I think are the top 10 best cards for the rare set, or this rarity, the rare rarity. There you go. Let's get started. These things are coming out in no particular order, and here is the first one, Case of the Uneaten Feast. This is a nice one. If you've been paying attention, you'll find that I do like the case cards a lot, and I think this is one that you can have some definite uses for this ability on the top. Alright, so I'll read it to you here. It says, when another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 3 life. Alright, you can read the rest for yourself, but I really think that that's the big one here. That's the most important part of this card. That one you can definitely use with like maybe token decks, and when those tokens come into play, they're effectively going to trigger this. And when it gets triggered, then you'll gain that 3 life. And I think this is a good card for decks like the Sorin deck that I just built for Sorin 1. That one's going to be coming out really soon. That one I really like. You'll see how you can use it in that deck where you're just able to get a ton of life and build up your creatures to be really strong. For those of you that are not familiar with Sorin 1, he's got a good ability. His third ability is really good, where every time you get some life, you'll be able to get a +4/+0 buff to all of your creatures, right? So this one, if you can just imagine, you'll play this one and then drop some tokens, and every single token that comes into play will trigger the 3 life over here, and it'll also trigger that nice buff. So every creature token that comes in basically will give you a nice buff of +4/+0 for all of your creatures for every single token that comes in. That's going to be super awesome. Check out the deck that I built for this one. Alright, here's the next one. Assemble the players. At the beginning of your turn, fetch the first creature from your library. If that creature has power 6 or less, move it to the board under your control. I like this one because there are some really good decks that maybe are like mono creature decks. In a mono creature deck, it can be very useful. What I would say with those mono creature decks is a lot of times you have a hard time drawing the creature that you want. So you'll probably include cards like Gather the Pack, right? Because Gather the Pack is going to help you to move cards that are creature cards into your hand, and then you don't have to wait to pull that creature. And it's a tough draw to just pull one creature out of a deck, right? You got 10 cards, one of them is a creature. That's going to be like a 90% chance that you're not going to get what you want. This card, of course, will help you to pull that creature. As long as it's power 6 or less, you're going to be able to get it underneath your control every single turn. Excellent stuff here. Chalk Outline. This is a nice one too. This one was a little bit stronger previous to the latest patch that came out, but you know what? I think this is still a very good card, right? It says, when this support enters the board, destroy an opposing card at random. At the beginning of the combat on your turn, create X detective tokens. X is a number of creature cards in all graveyards. This is what the detective creature looks like. 2/2, so kind of nice. I do like using this card in decks where you're going to have a ton of creatures in your graveyard, right? Obviously, that's what we're going to try to do. And you're going to be able to put down a whole ton of those amazing detective tokens. So this is good stuff. It's going to help you every single turn at the beginning of combat. Good card here. Okay, here's the next one that I like, 10th District Hero. At the beginning of your turn, collect evidence 1. If evidence was collected, this creature gets +1/+2. Then this creature gains vigilance and gains the detective subtype until the end of your turn. At the end of your turn, collect evidence 1. If evidence was collected and this card has the detective subtype, exile this card and create a Maliva the Stalwart token. This is what the Maliva Stalwart token looks like. You can see it's got the indestructible ability here. That's going to be really cool. We've seen that previous to this on several support cards, but it's going to be interesting to see how it looks here on the creatures as well. So good card here, got a ton of uses. Alright, here's the next one, Case of the Locked Hothouse. This one I think you'll find that there is some really good use for. This is another case card. I'll read the thing here. It says, at the beginning of your turn, convert 3 gems to green to solve. If you match 4 or more green gems this turn, this card gains a solved emblem. This is what the solved emblem does here. At the beginning of the combat on your turn, there are 5 or more green gems on the board, reinforce the first creature you control. That's a really good one. A lot of times I would probably think about using this deck with a card like Gaia's Revenge. That's going to be nasty. That's a 16 power creature. Reinforce that sucker every turn. That's going to be nasty. Okay, here's the next one, Connecting the Dots. When a creature you control attacks, exile the first card from your library. At the beginning of your turn, return the first creature card from your exile into play under your control. If you can't, return the first support card from your exile to play under your control. Alright, so what I would probably be doing with this one is trying to make sure that you got some spells in a deck, right? Because when your first creature attacks, you exile the first card from your library. You're hoping that that's a spell, alright? And the reason you're hoping that that's a spell is because it allows you to control this next part a little bit easier. At the beginning of your turn, return the first creature card from your exile into play, or return the first support card from your exile into play. So what I would do is exile from my hand a card, like a creature or a support that I want, and then it says here at the beginning of your turn, or actually when the creature you control attacks, exile the first card from your library. You're hoping that's a spell, because if it's a spell, that card that you exiled from your hand is going to come into play for free. So it's a nice way to kind of control the card that goes into play for free. I do like this card. I think there's going to be a whole ton of uses. Good job for this one here. Okay, this one I think is probably a top 5 in the entire set, right? Steam Core Scholar. It's a weird detective, 2/2. This is when this creature enters the battlefield, discard 2 cards, then draw 2 cards. When you draw a card during your turn, increase its level by 1. At the end of your turn, you gain X mana and X loyalty. X is this card's level. What I would like to do, obviously, is put this one in a deck where you're going to draw a ton of cards. And really, that's going to help you, right? At the end of your turn, you're going to gain a ton of loyalty. And what I'm going to try to do is put this with several planeswalkers that are more like themed planeswalkers. And if you don't know what a themed planeswalker is, check out the guides that I've been putting out for how to choose a planeswalker, right? These themed planeswalkers are really strong because you'll be able to definitely use their abilities over and over and over again. And that's what this card is going to help you to do, right? So think about like Teferi 1, right? Use that ability, that third ability, over and over and over again. It's just going to help you to win. You hit that third ability and then just keep launching the second ability, rather. That's probably what's going to help you to win. You know, excellent stuff there. This card's really going to help. All right, Protic Mind. This is going to be another interesting one here. When this support enters the board, draw a card. When you draw a card during your turn, increase its level by 1. At the beginning of the combat on your turn, a random creature you control gets plus X plus X. X is this card's level, and then of course this level becomes 1. This one is another one that you can put with a massive draw kind of a deck, right? So the previous card you saw, this card here can probably go in the same deck. If you're going to get a ton of draw, you might as well use both of them together. You'll get a nice big buff. You'll get tons of loyalty from the last card, right? Excellent stuff. Oh yeah, here's the next one. Well, this one is War Leader's Call. When this support enters the board, your creatures get +2/+2. When a creature enters the battlefield under your control, deal 2 damage to each opposing creature. So I like this one a lot, especially this second ability here, right? Do 2 damage to each opposing creature when a creature comes into the battlefield under your control. Again, you can use this one with a lot of token decks. You drop those tokens and each of the opposing creatures will start taking damage. This one I think is a really, really good card, especially because red, for the most part, doesn't have a ton of creature removal cards. So you won't see like exile target creature that your opponent controls or destroy target creature your opponent controls. You're going to have to go to about that just dealing damage, right? And you know, if you have to deal damage, this is a card that's going to help you deal a ton of damage to your opponent's creatures. You're still going to have to figure out a way to get rid of those prevent damage creatures, but at least this one is going to help you to get rid of those other ones, which is going to help you in the long run. Okay, here's the last one, Sharp-Eyed Rookie. When a creature enters the battlefield, investigate. Then if that creature's base power is X or greater, this creature gets +1/+1. X is this creature's base power. Again, it's another card that you can use with token decks. load up these tokens that's got the power that's less than 2, and then you're gonna see some really good effect here, right? You're gonna get this guy buffed up really nicely and strongly. That's gonna be something really cool. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of this video, guys. Hope you guys liked it. Like and subscribe, share with all your friends. That really helps the channel. Check out all of the other videos for this series. And yeah, you know, we do this for you guys, so we hope you enjoy it. Good gaming.